Everyone, welcome to week 9. We are officially halfway done with the semester, or on the downhill slide. You guys have been doing a really great job, and I'm very impressed with the quality and level of work that you've been turning in. So keep at it. I know it's a lot. There's a lot to do in this course. And so I just encourage you to keep going strong as you have been and reaching out to me with any questions. So this week, in week 9, we are going to start our signature assignment, which is a very, very significant portion of the rest of the semester, and it's a major part of your grade for this class. So this week, you will be responsible for reading chapter 11 and taking the quiz, and that's going to be reviewing reproductive health and how that has a play in overarching global health themes and impacts. So you'll be responsible for reading that chapter, taking the quiz, and then you will also need to take the Unit 2 exam if you have not done so. And so that is going to be due on October 24th. And this, you have the ability to retake quizzes, to review the content, and I would really recommend reviewing the chapters and taking notes and then having those available to you during the quiz as well, during the exam as well. So let's get into really the meat of what we'll be doing for the remainder of the semester, and that's when we are going to be talking about the Sustainable Development Goals in the time of COVID. And I realize that we have been living and breathing COVID for the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. But it really is a crucial and critical part of global health. And so we are going to review each of the Sustainable Development Goals. But in this first section, you'll have phase 1, which is right here. It's broken out into 3 phases. And the first phase is going to be 3 weeks. So this will be over weeks 9 through 11. Your second phase is 2 weeks. It's going to be over weeks 12 and 13. And then phase 3 will be weeks 14 and 15. So essentially, through the remainder of the semester, you will be working on one of these phases. The first phase is group research, and you're going to be building your wiki. So I've broken you out into groups, and this is going to be a different group than your previous group that you've just finished over the infectious diseases. So you will be assigned one of the Sustainable Development Goals, and your job will be to research and develop this information. And you'll really be graded on your individual contribution and the quality of the teamwork as well, the group work that's completed. So in here it states you're going to outline one, but it's going to be in depth. I am expecting at least 10 to 15 hours of work per person for this. This is a significant part of our grade this semester, and you're really going to want to make sure that you've developed some quality research and answered everything very in-depthly. The second phase is a group paper, and I realize this is not ideal, but this really is a good time for you to collaborate with your peers that you've been researching with, and it's going to allow you to develop the skills to take a lot of information and turn it into a succinct and very detailed paper, but you're able to prioritize and identify what the important pieces are that you want to highlight and what should be known about this goal. And then the third phase, so after all the groups submit their paper, I'm going to compile all of them into a single course paper. And this is going to be not over all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals, but your job is to read the entire report. And then there will also be the course paper, which will have 9 of the Sustainable Development Goals. And so what you need to do is read the entire report and create a reflection paper following the guidelines. And so we'll obviously get to that when we get closer into weeks 14 and 15. But for week 9, so for this week, you need to do several things. So we're going to go into the case study area. You're going to read the instructions for the first part of the paper. I'll review that with you right now. Go into the group area, find your team. This is named for the Sustainable Development Goal that you are responsible for in phase 1 of this project, phase 1 and phase 2. And then finally, you're going to make contact with your group and get started. I would recommend that you split up the research work, set your expectations for everyone by at least Wednesday of this week. There's a lot of research that you need to do, but if you work well as a team, you should be able to get it done in the time period that you have. Okay, so let's go into the case study. So this is hidden currently, but I will allow this to be seen by the time you review this video. So what you are going to be doing is, this is the World Health Organization's Sustainable Development Goal report for 2020 in the time of COVID. So if you click on this, it will bring up a separate tab. And so what you will need to do is, on the second page here, it has all 17 of the different goal areas. I have identified which ones we will be reviewing this semester. And so depending on which goal you are assigned in your group, that's the goal that you're going to be reviewing. So if your group is Sustainable Development Goal number 3, you are going to be on goal number 3, good health and well-being. And so what you'll need to do is go to the third goal, page 28, and okay. So here we have good health and well-being. So this is Sustainable Development Goal number 3. And so that's how you can identify that this is the goal you're working on. And there are 2 pages, 3 pages. Some of them are more, some of them are less. This one's actually quite a bit longer. So this one's 4 pages. Okay. So this is by no means the entirety of the research that you should be looking at. This is a good starting point. This is really a way for you to develop and identify what the goal is talking about, what you should be focusing on, but then you're going to need to do outside research on your own. You are going to need to review resources, review information, and make sure that it's all encompassing. You're really gathering all of the information on the questions that you need to. So here is what you're going to be focusing on. So you will need to answer very in-depthly. I am expecting quite a bit of research on each one of these. I could not imagine an answer to this explaining what your sustainable development goal is, what it's trying to accomplish, and why it matters to global health. There is no way that you could answer that in a couple sentences. You really need to put a lot of effort and attention and research into each one of these in order to get potentially full points. You need to tell me what was happening with this goal at the time of the pandemic. So you need to tell me what is happening and where we are towards accomplishing the goal prior to the start of the pandemic. So think back to March 2020, which is really when we saw it in America, but look and see, when this became a pandemic, where was your goal? What were the things that were accomplished, or what Was it going well? Was it not? Tell us what was happening before the pandemic started, and then explain what has changed since the onset of the pandemic. Explore the different factors that you think are causing these changes. Think about personal, cultural, corporate, and governmental behaviors. Identify each one of these specifically. I put them in here on purpose. I want you to really divide these out and answer each one. And then analyze how the changes we are seeing may affect people in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and 25 years. You will not get full credit if you don't address each one of these different year lengths of time. So this is partially from the report, partially from your own research, and then it's also from your knowledge of the course in the textbook. And then this last one, explore and explain actions that could be taken to help reduce or alleviate the health burdens that are occurring or may occur due to the pandemic. And think about this from a personal level all the way to a global, worldwide level. And why do you think each action will be effective? Some of these can be very opinion-based, so it's really important that as you're going through and working with your group that you guys are able to articulate and explore why you have this opinion or why you're thinking this way, and you need to be respectful of the differing opinions. Just make sure that you're backing things up with information and research that is reliable and credible. You really need to put in all of the sources that you use, and I would like to see APA citations. And that's really important for the group paper, so you may as well start using them here. And then what you really want to do is have a very thorough and in-depth understanding of your topic area, because based on this research, you're going to have to condense that into a paper, which is going to require you to understand what is top priority and most important, but also be thorough. So having a good knowledge of the topic is the best way to accomplish that. And then here's a few suggestions and recommendations. I expect you to spend time researching outside of the provided materials. The World Health Report is a very good start, but it is no way in depth and no way what I would expect quality work to only use. And then here we have some of the topic points require you to provide an opinion and back it up with your knowledge or outside research. Don't be afraid to put in your opinions, but make sure that you can back them up. And then double check your sources, think about source type and quality. And then I highly recommend you contact and use the library resources. They're really trained in assessing and finding resources, and they will really be a great help to you. Finally, do not alter or steal from another team's work. If you do so, you could fail the project or fail the course, depending on the level of extremeness and really kind of the egregious nature of it. So do not do that. I have the ability to see what is altered and when, and so if that ever happens, then it will be addressed, but in not a positive way for whoever has done so. Okay. So let's go ahead and click into here. And so what I have done is I have already broken out the different goals that we will be reviewing. So you'll notice that they're out of order only in that they follow numerical, with ones being first and then 2, 3, 4, etc. So just make sure that when you go into your group and you see which group number you are, you're going into that wiki page in order to answer the questions. So all of the information is right here. It's in this first one, but I've also included the questions that you're going to be answering within each wiki page. So if you go, like to the 7, the goal 7, it states it right here. You just edit wiki content and then we'll start to type in there. You have the ability to see your group members let me go down in the group tab, but you do not have the ability to communicate with them in there. You need to be doing all of your wiki content work in this wiki page. So I can see who is doing what and